Coming at you live, coming at you live. It's your boy Skillz here with round 3 of what I'm unofficially calling Skillz on Cards. 2023 tops needs to be sorted, needs to be organized, needs to be commented on. There's a lot of errors going on, and I still have not figured out that wayward card number 42 that's supposed to be in my box but is not. And that's what hopefully maybe we'll get closer to solving that issue in round number 3. We're going to do card numbers 51 through 75. Stay tuned. Thanks for being with us. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Skillz on Cards Part 3. And before we dive into the rest of Pile 3, I just want to go back to Pile 1. If you may recall, Skillz on Cards, we were missing card number 42 in the set for whatever reason. And I even thought briefly it was some sort of Jackie Robinson connection. I didn't know. But it turns out that it was Mr. Franchy Cordero. I don't know why he was missing, but we've got him now. He is card number 42, and he is a out-of-place looking and sounding Boston Red Sox. In any event, there you go. See him doing his thing at Fenway Park there. We go to the reverse. The blurb says Franchy saw what was easily the most action of his 6-year career in 2022 as the Red Sox slid in between first base and the outfield. I always thought he was a utility guy, like an infielder, but memory is not what it used to be. He walked off Seattle with a 2-out 10th inning grand slam on May 22nd, and somehow I managed to not hear about that at all that I can recall. Looking at the numbers, you see Franchy played about twice as much as he ever played any other season, which is also a surprise to me because I always thought he was a borderline regular, but hey, memory. Franchy, just, I guess the name stuck out. Not to be confused with Frenchie, Jeff Francoeur, another former San Diego Padre and Kansas City Royal of yesteryear. Card number 51 is the outfielder, the versatile outfielder for the Houston Astros, Chas McCormick. And I'm ashamed that after all these years in the league, I'm still not sure if Chas is short for something. And what I am sure of is that he's no known relation to Maureen McCormick of the Brady Bunch fame. Let's see what we have on the reverse. Chas, as you see, plenty of pop. Not really a threat to steal, but he's going to hit the bottom. I know he hit 22 home runs in 2023 and just over like 400 at bats, and he also struck out a lot, always has struck out a lot, but he makes up for it in other ways. Blurb says Chas admits to being an overachiever. If I didn't have the strongest arm, I didn't hit the ball the farthest, I wasn't the biggest guy, but the more I played, the more people realized I was a gamer, and that certainly describes the McCormick that I've been exposed to and that the rest of Major League Baseball has been exposed to these last few years. Card number 52 is a gentleman. We remember Adam Liberatore for the Dodgers a few years ago. This is Matthew Liberatore, and yet somehow this rare last name, these two Major League Baseball pitchers, they are not related. I have looked, I have checked every source, from ESPN through SI all the way down, except BR, I'll never check BR. And I have checked everywhere that I could possibly find any sort of connection between these two gentlemen, and the only connection they have is similar, or matching last names and matching professions, but no other connection between Adam and Matthew. Matthew, of course, is the up-and-coming left-hander for the St. Louis Cardinals. Big guy, wears number 52. Blurb says, with exceptional size, mid-90s heat, and a filthy curve, Matthew emerged as a top Cardinals prospect after joining the organization in the 2020 Randy Arozarena trade with Tampa Bay. Remember that? Yes, Arozarena was not originally a Ray. He was a Cardinals prospect beforehand. Continuing on, the Southpaw picked up his first St. Louis victory with 5 scoreless innings against the Brewers on May 28, 2022, then contributed out of the bullpen later in the year. So Liberatore, versatile, he's gonna play a number of different roles. Got in 9 games with the Cards in 2022. I'm not sure what his role was in 2023. We'll check back up on that later on. Card number 53 is the White Sox star right-hander, for now anyway, because he's been involved in all sorts of trade rumors all winter long. None have materialized yet. Dylan Cease, as in Dylan cease to be a White Sox if everyone gets their way, the way it's looking right now. Number 84, which I'm pretty sure there's been no other 84 in a regular season for the White Sox ever. We'll double check on that. They did have a 73 in Tony Phillips years ago, but that's neither here nor there. And I think Manny Ramirez might have wore some high number when he was a White Sox briefly. On the reverse, we have the following blurb. Dylan pitched his way into 2022 AL Cy Young Award contention by relying chiefly on a filthy slider that teammate Liam Hendricks calls a 90-mile-an-hour curveball. The movement on it is extreme. Now that would be an insane, if someone could throw a curve at 90 miles an hour, I don't know how their elbow would not explode, but that'd be insane. Continuing, since ERA became an official stat in 1913, Cease's 14 consecutive starts of no more than one earned run allowed set a record, to more than Jacob deGrom, the Mets superstar now with the Rangers, Jacob deGrom's streak of 21. So Dylan Cease in 2022, as you can see, one of the many pitchers who threw one shutout and tied for the league lead, led the league in WAR 6.4, led the league in walks with just 78. Well, pitchers aren't allowed to throw enough innings to walk much more than that anymore. 14-8, so definitely this guy, and he followed up with a pretty good 23. Definitely a guy who's going to help out any rotation he ends up in. Card number 54 is a gentleman who's got on my nerves more than once over the years. A little flamboyant, a little boisterous, but certainly a lot of talent. Not as much talent as maybe his mouth sometimes would indicate, but certainly enough talent, certainly more talent than I've gotten, certainly enough talent to be a big winner in MLB multiple seasons in his career, and that's Marcus Stroman. Now with the Yankees in 2023 Topps, he's still a Cub, and you know he's 5'6" or so, and he's still got that big arm and that big repertoire of pitches. He's been a big winner, well, not a huge winner, but he's won double digits a number of times. As we look on the reverse here, it's out 2020 due to the pandemic, came back and won 10 games the next year. 3.02 ERA in 2021. That had to be high among the leaders, as was his 296 in 2019. Blurb says, Marcus is a former MLB All-Star and four-time double-digit winner who reinforced Chicago's 22 rotation with his signature sinker. I always thought he had a signature curveball, but what do I know? He was at his very best in June when he logged a 0.89 ERA in 4 starts. So Stroman, of course, the longtime Blue Jay, left there, went to the Mets for a while, moved on to the Cubs for the past 2 seasons. He will be in the Bronx for 2024 at minimum, and we'll see how his big heart and his big confidence plays out in front of Yankee fans. They are going to tolerate a guy who doesn't back up his mouth. Card number 55. The return to prominence of the Houston Astros in the last few years. Well, they never really were out of prominence, but they had to retool along the way, which included rebuilding their rotation. And one of the guys they brought in, they promoted from the minors, was young Christian Javier, no known relation to Stan. Christian is a hard thrower, still in the Astros rotation. I think 2022 marked his second year with the team. Actually, according to the reverse, it was his 3rd year. And first full year in the rotation, 2nd year with extensive run. Javier, 11-game winner in 2022, no blurb, and I remember I believe it was Javier who had a rough outing and relief in one of the playoffs a few years ago, and Dusty had to yank him prematurely, but don't quote me on that because I will deny it under oath. Christian Javier, getting things done, making waves for the Astros of the present World Series champ a couple years ago, and pitchers and catchers are reporting, so he should be in camp right now. Card number 56. Card number 56 is a gentleman, one of those gentlemen who I have never heard of before pulling this card, and that is Jermaine Palacios, and that is an interesting combination ethnically of first and last names. Jermaine, Minnesota Twin, got to rocking the red jersey on him, Minnesota, the alternate look. So this could be possibly a spring training photo, but you never know. That doesn't really, well, I guess that's why was I thinking the Twins still played in the Metrodome? That could be Target Field for all I know. But I think that's his road grade, so I'm triply wrong, aren't I? Jermaine Palacios, no blurb, and since I know nothing about him, this will be a very short review. 10 for 70 in 30 games for the 22 Twins. Did go deep twice, but a 143 average is not really anything you're going to feel good about going home over the winter. Hopefully Jermaine gets it going, or got it going at 23, and will continue to develop as people stop confusing him for, say, Jermaine Jackson. Card number 57, and I'm going to probably screw up the pronunciation of this name, like probably most Americans would. Let's get the focus right here. I don't know why I'm not getting the proper focus. But anyway, we have Ha-Seong Kim of the San Diego Padres, who recently was named their full-time shortstop after playing kind of like a little bit all over in recent years, with Xander Bogaerts, superstar, moving to second base. Now, I remember Kim best for his collision with Tommy Pham in 2022. Was it 22? It had to be 22, I guess. And as you might imagine, Tommy Pham got upset. And I don't know, I know it's hard to believe Tommy Pham getting upset about something, but I watched it. He was having a meltdown in the dugout. Kim, second season with the Padres after a number of years playing in Korea. He showed that power in Korea. Hasn't shown it here in the United States. I don't know if that's a ballpark thing or just still trouble adjusting, but in any event, he's still not a bad player. Hit 251 with 11 homers and 517 at-bats in 2022. And the blurb says, a marvel defensively at shortstop, which is probably why he got the starting job. Ha-seong ups his offensive game considerably in 2022, which, considering he hit 202 in 2021, wasn't hard to do. Given that he averaged 22 home runs over his final 6 seasons in Korea, there may be even more pop to come. Well, he's going to have a job. He's going to have a full-time job coming up this season for the first time in MLB, a full-time job at one spot, at least to open the season. And I would like to think the Padres, after investing in moving Bogarts to second base, which I doubt he really wanted to do, they're not going to fool around and put a guy out there in Kim who's going to not get a very good opportunity of his own. So they're going to probably stick with him for a long time. Card number 58 is the Cardinals utility backup something, Ivan Herrera, wearing number 47 in the great tradition of legends like John Mabry for the Cardinals. I don't know a ton about Ivan, but what I can tell you is that according to his blurb, he was only 21 and the 5th youngest player in the National League when he debuted for the Cardinals as a defensive replacement on May 24th of 22. Rated the number 7 prospect in the organization by MLB.com, he may be the heir apparent to Yadier Molina behind the plate in St. Louis. Herrera hits for high averages while playing sound defense. So apparently he's a backup catcher. At least he backed up Yadier Molina as a catcher. Because I was thinking he was an infielder like Ivan DeJesus. I think that's who I was thinking of, the former Ivan DeJesus Jr. of the Dodgers, I believe. And Herrera's got a little pop, 17 homers in the minors in 21. So with Molina gone, I'm pretty sure he got some kind of look in 2023. We'll fill you in on that when we have that information. Card number 59. This is a gentleman who had kind of a rocky 22 season, which, if I'm not mistaken, was his first with the Tigers. Eduardo Rodriguez, longtime Boston Red Sox, was on the 18 World Series team. Chews up innings, goes the distance at times, got a great repertoire, throws hard, left-hander. And according to the reverse, Rodriguez is out of Venezuela. He did not play in 2020. It wasn't because of the pandemic. I believe he had an injury that year. At least that's also being supported here by what I see on the card. Yeah, 2022, he lost half the season practically to personal issues, which to this day I still don't know what they were, which is why they're called personal issues. I'm not supposed to know what they are. Hello? Rodriguez was only 5-5 after signing a mega deal. He had been 13-8 the year before. He had won 19 games in 19, so this is a guy. He's not just some slouch. He's not just some random dude. He's put up some numbers over the years. Blurb says, Eduardo's first season with the Tigers in 22 was barely a cameo, but the club now looks forward to getting the pitcher whose 703 win percentage from 18 to 21 was the best of all lefties with 50-plus decisions. And Rodriguez did indeed return to form in a big way in 2023, enough so that I believe it was Arizona who signed him to another mega deal, and I'll confirm that for you in the notes. Card 60 is a guy who's done some damage to my Giants in the last couple of years, and that's infielder Josh Rojas. I believe he also got into a fight against my Giants, or against somebody. Somebody hit him and he got mad. I forget who. Wears number 10, wearing the teal. See, I like this kind of combination of Diamondback colors a little bit. I miss their original colors, the purple and teal, but I guess maroon and teal isn't too bad either, with some black mixed in there. Rojas about to fire off a throw, most likely from shortstop. Blurb says, Josh has a solid claim to be one of the most underrated players in baseball. Why do they capitalize baseball? That's not even necessary. I mean, I know why they do, but come on. He hangs up above average skills, or above average stats, steals bases, and plays multiple positions with distinction. After missing 26 games at the start of the schedule with an oblique injury, his first 3 extra base hits of the campaign were home runs, all of them in a May 20th defeat of the Cubs. So Rojas got a 3 home run game in 2022. Somehow, no one in the country knew about it outside of Arizona. 11 homers in 21. So this guy who's flashed some pop. He is no longer, if I'm correct, he ended up with the Pirates last year, some other team. I know the Diamondbacks weren't going with him. They moved on from him sometime during the 23 season. They went with Perdomo and that other kid whose name I'm slipping. 23 steals Rojas had in 22, so he's not a bad player, but I'm still mad at him for starting crap with my Giants. Card number 61, 2023 Topps, gives us the Brewers outfielder Tyrone Taylor, and as you can see here on the front of the card, the guy has a lot of athleticism. The guy's made a lot of plays. The guy's been on a number of highlight films over the years, making wall leaping catches just like this one. He's been in the works for years for the Brewers, and in 2022 he finally got a chance to play extensively. According to the blurb, Tyrone made an opening day roster for the first time in 22, and he was responsible for some of the greatest catches and steadiest overall outfield play of the season. When he hit, such as when he touched them all on both games of a doubleheader sweep against the Cubs on May 30th, that was gravy. Taylor drove in 21 runs in his 23 starts that month, and as you can see, he's got pop, 17 homers in 22 steals. Batting average not where you want it to be, but really whose is in this day and age. Of course, we had to assign Aaron Judge with card number 62 here in 2023 Topps. He broke records in that season. 62 home runs, set an American League record, and to some is the legit home run all-time record, because some people want to acknowledge McGwire and Bonds and Sosa, and that's their choice. I can't really get into that. Of course, that winner, Judge, spurned my Giants as a free agent, but I'm going to choose to forgive him for that discretion. On the reverse, as you can see here, a number of league-leading stats last season, or should say in 22. 131 RBI to go with the homers, 111 walks, probably 200 strikeouts, but they don't list that here anymore. Slugging flirted with 700. Look at that OPS. Look at the WAR. Blurb says, in what has been widely adjudicated, first time that's ever been on the card, as one of the greatest seasons of all times, Aaron's 62 home runs were an AL record. Not since Mickey Mantle in 1956 had a player-led MLB in home runs, RBIs, runs, and extra base hits. So Aaron Judge, a force in the Yankee lineup until he missed about 3 months of last season with a toe injury. But that's neither here nor there. I'm pretty sure my Giants still would have made that deal. Card number 63, the journeyman, now journeyman, former Angel, former Twin, Rocky here, C.J. Cron. Daddy Chris was a Ranger briefly in 92, I believe it was. Whereas number 25 in Colorado, which was once worn in Colorado by the great Jason Giambi. Cron here making a play at first base, does a lot of DHing too, I think. And then on the reverse we have Cron. You can see also spent time with the Rays, the Twins, the Tigers. He's been around, and wherever he goes, he just hits home runs. In fact, 22 was his first season with 100 RBI, which is kind of shocking, considering as long as he's been around. Blurb has him as the muscle in the heart of Colorado's lineup, batting almost exclusively third or fourth. Well, really, any Colorado lineup. Freaking God bless him, rest his soul, Gary Coleman could have been muscle in that lineup. The first time MLB All-Star drove in 128 runs in his first 128 games at Coors Field after joining the club in 2021. So C.J. Cron following in the footsteps of the great Todd Helton, who's now in the Hall of Fame, by being a big-time run producer in Colorado at first base. I don't think he's with the Rockies anymore. We'll double-check on that when the video is complete. We will check on that and see where C.J. Cron spent 23 and will spend 24. Card number 64, the veteran third baseman, the great one-time third baseman, Josh Donaldson of the New York Yankees here on this card. As you can see here, making a great play on the infield. Donaldson in his prime. Could do it both ways, defensively and offensively. Not bad for a guy who came up as a catcher with the Oakland A's. Let's check out the reverse here. Donaldson, of course, was the 2015 AL MVP with the Toronto Blue Jays, his first season there, after being ridiculously dealt away out of Oakland. I almost used another word. Led the league in RBI that year. Hasn't done any other bold italics since then. Oh, wait. He led the league in runs that year, too, my bad. In 2022, he batted a modest 220. Well, 222 is not modest. It's actually poor. With a modest 15 home runs and 62 RBI in 132 games for the Yankees. There's no blurb, so I will just tell you that Donaldson one time got into it with Manny Machado for no reason, which wasn't really his fault. Manny tends to kind of run a little hot sometimes. Josh Donaldson, probably not coming back to Major League Baseball, free agent as we speak. And he was released by the Yankees towards the end of last season. I don't think he hooked up anywhere else since. Card number 65. The young, the thin, the talented right-hander of the Cleveland Guardians, Tristan McKenzie. And I want to say something about the Guardians real quick. In my head, when I run through my Rolodex of American League teams in alphabetical order, I usually have to kind of remind myself that they're the Guardians and not the Indians anymore. But for the first time ever the other day, I did it automatically. I went Angels, A's, Blue Jays. Actually, I went Angels, Astros, A's, Blue Jays, Guardians instead of Blue Jays, Indians. Tristan McKenzie, very, very thin, but blows that ball by you when he's healthy. In 2022, he was 11-11 for the Guardians, 191 innings pitched, which is quite a lot for a young pitcher to be allowed to throw. Not that it's right or wrong, I'm just saying they don't let him do it that much. 2.96 ERA. I knew the boy was good. I didn't know he was that dang good. And he had been in the Indians' rotation the year before. Of course, according to this card, they're called Cleveland. Blurb says, when Tristan reached the 50-start mark of his career in 22, his 195 opponent's batting average was the 7th lowest in history at that stage. He threw 24 consecutive scoreless innings in July. Now, what I want to know is how many starts did those scoreless innings cover? What, 6? No, I don't think Francona's that far gone. Francona was not that far gone. Card number 66, 2023 Topps Skillz on Cards. Just to remind you all, I am a Giants fan, a diehard Giants fan of over 30 years. So I'm pleased to present to you, more than any other card probably so far, the great shortstop Brandon Crawford, who in 2022 was coming off of a dream season the year before, which got some MVP votes. We can go to the blurb here. Oh, there is no blurb. We have no blurb to speak of, although we have some bold italics where Crawford led the league in triples, tied for the league with 11 triples in 2016, which was a very long time ago. Look at those numbers from 2021, 24 homers, 90 RBI. That is 90, right? Yeah, I think so. Brandon Crawford, now a free agent, not guaranteed to play anywhere in 2024, but always a forever Giant, hence the word forever. Card number 67. This is one of those rookies, one of those young kids I don't know anything about. We have the outfielder for the Pirates, Travis Swaggerty. I think this is Swaggerty the guy that hit the home runs into McCovey Cove against the Giants? I don't remember for sure. I know he wears number 50. And on the blurb here in the back, on the reverse, we have heralded as the best defensive outfielder in the Pirate system by Baseball America. Travis also ranks among the organization's fastest athletes. He bounced back from an injury-shorted 21 campaign to earn his first call-up in June 22. Swaggerty showed off his wheels to launch his initial hit on the 9th, an infield single against Atlanta. So if Swaggerty was that guy who hit 2 home runs, it did not happen in 2022. I'll figure out who that Pirate was and present it to you when I can at the end of this video when I take notes. Card number 68 is the Braves' young all-star catcher, William Contreras. And no, my friends, that is not a typo or a misprint. William is Will Son's little brother, who's also an all-star like Big Bro. And I think at some point they're going to end up probably being teammates outside of the all-star game. William Contreras emerged that year, 2022. Let's check out his information on the back. The blurb says, William signaled his emergence by belting 7 homers in his first 13 games of 22. He joined Wilson of the Cubs, who I just mentioned, to form the 5th set of brothers to start the MLB All-Star game in the same year. How did they do that? What were they both in national? Well, they must have started different positions because they, one must have been a DH and one must have caught. Okay, look at those numbers for William: 20 homers, 45 RBI, and just 334 at bats. I don't remember exactly how he did in 23, but I'm pretty sure he didn't make the All-Star team, and that's no knock on him. In fact, I got to check and see where he even ended up for this season. I have this weird feeling. I know Wilson moved on. I don't know about William. Card number 69 is the great Caleb Killian, who I've also never heard of. Just like Mr. Swaggerty a couple of cards ago, I can see he's a right-handed pitcher. I can see he's a Chicago Cub. Let's see what we can find out on the reverse, people. Caleb Killian is 6'4", 180, so one of those gangly type guys, I would guess. Blurb has him as going 2-0 with a 1.31 ERA over 8 opening AAA starts. Over his opening 8 AAA starts in 22, triggered his first call-up to the Cubs in June. An 8th-round draft pick of the Giants out of Texas Tech in 2019, he came to the organization in the Chris Bryant trade 2 years later. Now, that was a steal. I did not think anyone that the Cubs got in that deal was going to make it to the majors, but here we go. Hopefully, Killian falls flat, so that trade doesn't end up being a bust. Killian combines a deep repertoire with the best control in the system per Baseball America. Look at those numbers: 3 games, 0-2, 11 innings, 11 hits, and an ERA in double digits. Well, Caleb so far not making the deal look all that great for the Cubs, although they were probably very happy to get out from under Bryant's salary, as still manageable as it was at that time. Card number 70 is the great Darren Ruff, and I call him great because he was a Giant off and on for 4 years. He got me roasted on Twitter because, like so many Giants outfielders, I predicted that Farhan would not give him much of a shot in San Francisco, that once he had a little mini slump, he was going to be out. Well, I turned out to be dead wrong. Ruff turned out to have a very good little run with the Giants before moving on to the Mets temporarily, then back to the Giants in 2023, I believe that was. Darren Ruff, card number 70, 2023 top Skillz on Cardz. Started out with the Phillies, as you can see, had some decent production there, moved on to the Giants eventually after some years across the ocean. I forget if that was Japan or Korea he was in, but in any event, he did come back to the States, did make an impact as a platoon player for my Giants, did help them tear the league up in 2021. When the 2022 Mets, Blurb says, moved to deepen their roster, Darren was a top target. He by right-handed thump and was even their first position player ever to deliver a scoreless pitching outing of 2+ innings. So Darren Ruff making moves, making impact on both sides of the country. Card number 71, as we continue with Skillz on Cardz. Pile 3 and 2023 tops, we have Merrill Kelly, the top-of-the-line, frontline starter for the Arizona Diamondbacks, late of the foreign... What foreign league was he in? He was in Japan, I think, for a while, or Korea, one of the others. Wearing number 29, I believe this is the alternate color Diamondback uniform. He's been a force for the D-backs the last couple years, and he even gets it done against my Giants, so I hate him for that. Blurb says, a major reason for major improvement by the D-backs in 2022 was the work of Merrill, whose ERA plummeted and win total soared. As the NL Pitcher of the Month for July, the one-time returnee from Korea, also was Korea, went 4-0 with a 1.31 ERA in 5 starts. Kelly boasts 2 21-inning scoreless streaks in his career, both partially or entirely during last season. And look at those numbers from last season, 2022. 33 games, I believe those were all starts, 13-8, 200 innings pitched, one of the few pitchers to do that. 177 strikeouts and a 3.37 ERA. He was with was he with the Rays? But I'm pretty sure he was with the Cardinals organization at one point. But whoever gave up on him, let him go to Japan. Let him go way too soon, because he has turned in quite a performance these last few years for the Snakes. Moving along, we have 2023 Topps card number 72, Jon Berti. Jon Berti, the versatile infielder for the Miami Marlins, the Fish as we also call them. He's picking it clean. It looks like he's playing second or shortstop here, coming in on a ground ball. He does it. He does a lot of the little things, some of the big things for the Marlins. Been a key player for them for the last few years. Berti in 2022 played in 102 games, a career high. Batted .240 with 4 homers, 20 RBI, led the league in 41 steals. 41 steals used to be a good, couple of months for Ricky Henderson, but I digress. Blurb says there are a few players faster than John, and he hits enough to take advantage of his speed. Last June, he concluded team records of 21 steals without being nabbed, and 18 more swipes in that month, while polishing off a 24-game on-base spree and a career-best 11-game hit streak. For the 4th straight year, he played at least 5 positions. So as I said, he's versatile. There's not too many guys who lead the league in steals without really having a set position. Not many guys who lead the league in steals playing just 102 games. But Berti is your man for both, at least in the year 2022. Good little play there. We continue with Jon Gray, card number 73, 2023 Topps. Jon Gray, who signed with the Texas Rangers as a free agent prior to that season. Signed a 4-year deal. I think it was worth around $70 million, something like that. Gray, of course, the longtime Colorado Rockies starter, had some good years there. Blurb says, despite multiple stints on the IL in 2022, the move from Colorado to Texas was a win for both John and the Rangers. He was exceptionally effective from June 12th to July 21st, 6-1 with a 1.81 ERA in 8 starts, because he had an up and down year that first year with Texas. More consistent last year, helped him to the championship, as I recall. He was with the Rockies for a long time, as you see here, 7 seasons. Of course, the 2020 season was interrupted, and I don't think Gray was healthy for much of that. Look at that ugly ERA. But you always got to add it's like the camera adds 10 pounds, the ballpark in Denver adds 1 run at minimum. So 4 straight double-digit win seasons for the Rockies, and I'm pretty sure he put one together in 2023. We'll have that information for you soon. John Gray, no relation, of course, to Josiah Gray, who now I have to double check and make sure I'm looking up the right guy when I enter those abbreviations. Card number 74. Our second last card in pile 3 is Tarik Skubal, and I'm positive I'm pronouncing that wrong, because I've never actually seen him pitch in person or on television. I've only seen his name in print. He's not much talked about out here in the Bay Area, but he's a guy who's been around for a couple years in Detroit. He's put up some good numbers for the most part. 2021, as you see, he was 8-12 in 31 games, struck out 164 hitters with a 4.34 ERA. Followed that up last year, or 22 I should say, was doing well, got hurt, only got in 21 games with a 3.52 ERA, but was set to blow away his win total from 21 before that happened. I'll find out what happened for you soon. Blurb says, before he was shut down for the last 2 months of 2022, Tarik made 8 starts in which he did not allow an earned run. Now, how many of those starts lasted more than 5 innings? Probably, 7? Or probably 1 out of 7. 1 out of 8. 7 didn't. His 21-inning scoreless streak in May was Detroit's longest in 6 years. So I'm guessing Verlander must have had the one before that. Who else was dealing for the Tigers in 2016? Tarik Skubal, a November baby, still pretty young. Still got time to put together some successful years for Detroit Tigers, who at this point could use all the success they could possibly get. Last but not least, for pile 3, we have card number 75, who is JT Brubaker, who I am constantly getting confused with. What's the guy's name? J.R. Buskakas or something like that is the guy's name. JB, whatever his name is. Got a long, European type name. Played for Oakland, I think, and other teams. But anyway, this is Brubaker. Brubaker's a guy who, as I recall, made a bunch of starts for the Pirates. Didn't last very long, and too many of them. Averaged less than 5 innings a start, but that's the norm these days. JT Brubaker in 2021 was 5-13 in 24 games with a 5.36 ERA. Cut that ERA down to 4.69 in 22 with a 3-12 record for the once again rebuilding Pirates. Blurb says that JT struck out more than a man per inning in 3 consecutive seasons. Only Francisco Liriano with 4 has had a streak longer than that among Pirate starters. Brew, whoa, that's clever. Man, where'd you get Brew? Oh my gosh. Whoever came up with that nickname, man, guy's got to work for an ad company or something. Came up with a streak, Brew whiffed 10 and only 5 2/3 innings pitched last May 17th, which once upon a time used to kind of be a unique occurrence, but not so much these days. So JT Brubaker, still pretty young. Well, actually, no, not really. He was born in 93, so he's 30 now. Brubaker making inroads for the Pirates, filling out their rotation, and hopefully will still do so for years to come. This has been Skillz on Cards. This has been 2023 Topps pile number 3. We've already presented you with piles 2 and 1. Look for those on YouTube. We will catch you next time for the next edition. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. I'm enjoying doing this show. Later.